golfj.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Golf J podcast on golfj.com. I'm Jim Sinacropi alongside Rhett Taccone inside the Finger Lakes 1.TV studios in Seneca Falls, New York on Monday night, November 16th. And we have a ton to talk about tonight. Graeme McDowell won in a three-way playoff on Monday at the OHL Classic. We'll update you on the race to Dubai. We'll share a useful mental tip from the pages of Zen Golf. We'll give you our fantasy golf picks for the RSM Classic in Seaside, Georgia. And we'll have a chance for you to win a Golf J golf hat if you're the first to answer this week's trivia question, like this guy here looking like he's 14 years old.
Hipster.
So you can get the Golf J hat in the 14-year-old style, or you can get it in the...
you don't like the flat brim?
The adult style with the...
This is the hipster look.
No, actually, I've had plenty of young folks on the golf course make fun of my bent brim, but I have a feeling they might make fun of your brim too if you show up at the links wearing that thing.
If I showed up with your hat and my son showed up with this hat, we'd be good to go. But,
that's right. So
yeah, you could win this hat or you can win that hat. We'll let you take your pick.
You pick your brim.
There you go.
Here at Golf J. Well, we're at another Monday finish on the PGA Tour. Graeme McDowell hits an approach into the first playoff hole this morning, nearly found the cup.
Laser.
And set up a kick-in birdie for the win, which was his first win of the year and his first top 10 on the PGA Tour of 2015, which is kind of hard to believe.
It's been a while for him to be up at the top, but
he's been struggling. He said he took some more time with his family this year.
Yeah. They had a baby, didn't they? I think something like that. So
yeah, a little late bloomer on the family front.
Yeah.
Third win in McDowell's career on the PGA Tour, and I found the most interesting thing about it was he told his caddy he wanted to smash a 6-iron because he was juiced up in his own words, and his longtime caddy Ken Comboy talked him down and convinced him to go ahead and hit the 5-iron.
Nice and easy 5, which obviously paid off because it was about Ernie L's yip length away from the hole. It went almost. I mean, you watched it. I watched it. I thought that was going in. And I was like, it's crazy how close it came to really going in.
Under that situation to hit that type of shot. And we talk about the caddies on the show. We love the caddies. And, the caddy, he probably wouldn't have won if the caddy didn't have the... And it takes a lot of guts. If you're a caddy, when your pro is convinced he wants to hit something, for you to call him back.
Yeah, call him
I'll
off.
tell a quick story. I told it before, but... I used to caddy on the Central New York PGA Tour for our club pro.
Right.
And I can't even remember what tournament it was, but he was off to a pretty good start. And we step up to the 5th hole. He's maybe 1 under par, my pro. And it's a par 3, 210, 215. Right. Pin in the back, big drop off in the back, bunch of pine trees. And he wanted to hit a 5-iron, and I said, no, I think it's a 4, And I caddied for this guy a lot, and I really did think it was a 4, and I called him off. I said, hit the 4. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, solid 4, just hit it. And he hits the 4, it lands just short of the pin and bounds over the green. He makes a double or triple bogey and didn't talk to me the rest of the day.
So you talked him the wrong way. He wanted to hit the 5 and you wanted him to hit the 4 a little longer. Same way here, but this worked out for Graeme McDowell for sure. He might have hit that dead left if he tried to smash a 6, I mean, he could have been over where Knoxville is.
Or if he did try to smash it and hit it good, it may have been short because he said he hit the 5-iron good. So, of course, my pro probably didn't remember all the dozens of times I gave him good advice, just that one. And I still remember it. So it takes, for a caddy in that situation, if he makes the wrong call, he's got to live with it for a long time.
No question. It's one of the toughest jobs there is. If it's going good, it's going great. If it's going not so good, it's awful. But I wonder if you got a little extra cash for that. That little
bonus.
Might have,
a little bonus.
$1.8 million that McDowell, or $1.80 McDowell won. I mean, 10% usually, but maybe he got 12% this week for that nice little tip.
Well, McDowell held off Russell Knox, who won last week, and Jason Bone, who's coming second in every event he's ever played in, it seems like, in the playoff. The interesting thing, too, about McDowell was on the first hole this week in Mexico, he struggled He started
Yeah.
out with a double bogey round 1, bogey second round, double bogey third
Plus
round, finally
5.
parred in the 4th, but he wins the tournament and he's 5 over on that first hole.
Could have won this without a playoff and all that drama if you went that first hole. That was like Tiger at the '08 U.S. Open. Remember how bad he played the first hole in every round of that tournament? Same
It's-
type of deal.
And it just goes to show you when you're playing your own round of golf and you double the first hole and you're like, oh, it's going to be a
Going to
bad day.
tank.
You never know. And
Yeah.
some of my best rounds have started with a bogey on the first hole.
Yeah,
and
it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
You gotta have a short memory. I was telling my son yesterday we're playing, and he's getting upset. He hits a couple bad shots here and there. I said, short memory. Focus on the next shot. Don't get so mad at yourself.
He's 9.
I know. He's on it though, man. He wants to hit the shot perfect every time. God bless him. He's
Yeah.
gonna have a long career or long day of it if he thinks that's gonna happen. Anyways,
So Russell Knox, just a playoff away from winning back-to-back tournaments, and just to tell you how good he's playing, nobody's won back-to-back tournaments since Billy Horschel did it to
Billy
close
Ho.
out the 13-14 season at the
FedEx
FedEx Cup.
Yeah.
And Jason Bone, since his 2010 win at the Zurich Classic in New Orleans, has collected 7 runner-up finishes. And over the first 4 starts of the 2015-16 season, Bone has 3 top 3 finishes.
He must like the bronze medal.
Well, either way, he's a solid pick for your
it's a good
fantasy
pick in
squad.
fantasy, no question.
And we'll get to that in a little bit next week at the RSM Classic in Seaside, Georgia. We'll have your fantasy picks coming up shortly. But in Europe, it's coming down to the championship of the European Tour. The race to Dubai is concluding.
Europe or Asia or Dubai or Middle East. Where are we?
Yeah,
It's the race to Dubai on the European Tour.
The championship of the European Tour is in Dubai.
Yes, and
which
they're-
makes a lot of sense.
They're losing full-time members by the day.
Including Graeme McDowell.
Including Graeme McDowell, who said that he's going where the money is and the best chance for him to earn. And he knows where that is. That's on the PGA Tour.
You wonder how relevant the European Tour is anymore. They do have some great events. I don't like how their season ends with all these tournaments away from Europe, especially Dubai.
Right.
I like the British Masters is
Yep.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you're looking at was there 6 guys left with a chance to win?
Yeah.
And they're big time names: McIlroy, Willett, Justin Rose, Shane Lowry, Oosthuizen,
Right.
and Brandon Grace. I mean, those
Right.
guys. That would be a great leaderboard at any golf's majors.
Hopefully they're all there in the top 10 this weekend. I mean, it's going to be a great tournament to watch. I'll definitely be tuning in because of there is some star power there, and it is. The European Tour is a great tour. It's just their best players now are leaving and they're coming to the PGA Tour. And I used to watch a lot of the European Tour, but I don't watch anywhere near as much until this time of year, really, when they do all play it, because they've got to catch up on points, it seems like. And they're in Asia, and there's some tournaments that don't conflict with any major U.S. tournaments. So it's a good time of year to watch the European Tour.
And we're usually on the golf course when those European Tour final rounds are happening in the weekend mornings.
Yeah, but now they're in Asia.
And we're not necessarily playing golf much anymore in November, even though up here in upstate New York, boy, it's heading in the 60s next couple days. We're going to be back out there still.
Absolutely.
For some November golf.
But yeah, Rory's got, he's just got he can either win or stay ahead of Willett in the top 45, and Willett has the same scenario for his chance to win it. Justin Rose needs a top 3, I think, and has to have Rory and Willett be no better than 8th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Shane Lowry, same thing, top 3, and then McIlroy and Willett have to be 12th or worse. So basically, they all have the same scenarios in the top 6 guys. So it'll be interesting to see. It's really McIlroy's or Willett's to lose.
But other than Willett and Lowry, most of these guys are playing a lot of their events in America anyway. So it's.
Justin Rose is a full-time guy. Rory McIlroy is a full-time guy.
Just playing just enough to retain that European status to qualify.
Well, now after they announced last week or a week or so ago, they're relaxing those requirements too. Now it's going to be down to 6. So you really don't have to play much of anything because the 4 majors count. So there's already anybody that's qualified on the European Tour to be in all those majors. There's 4 of them right there. The World Golf Championships count. So they really don't even have to travel to Europe to be eligible for the race to Dubai. So it's kind of weird that, they don't have to play on their home turf, so to speak, to even contend for this. And Rory, what he won 3 tournaments, so to speak, based on the ones he won. He won
And you're
in
going to
Dubai.
see him also lax in the Ryder Cup
Yeah,
qualification
they have to.
because
Can't lose a Graeme McDowell or a Rory McIlroy to the requirements of the Euro Tour to play in the Ryder Cup.
And I
Almost
really
should
think with the
be
Ryder
same
Cup, it
thing.
should just be where you were born.
Right.
Forget about
Right.
what tour you're a member
Right.
of. If you're a natural-born American,
Playing for the
and
United
if you're
States.
born in Europe and one of the European countries,
Yep.
then
And then the captains can figure it out, and there's
Yep.
there's definitely ways to figure that out. That's country stuff. It's not really necessarily what tour you're on. So, but I guess that's for another story.
So I don't know if you saw this, but the Writers Guild of America ranked the 101 funniest screenplays of all time, and they ranked Caddyshack 25th, which at first you're like, all right, Caddyshack,
Ridiculous.
it's pretty funny, 25th, but then, ahead of Caddyshack, number 1 was Annie Hall, a Woody Allen movie that you, don't even laugh in.
No, Woody Allen. Come
And
on.
then Tootsie, Bridesmaid, A Fish Called Wanda, When Harry Met Sally. These are all movies that are ahead of Caddyshack.
It's one of the most quoted movies of all time. It's one of the funniest of. Between that and Animal House, in our generation, there isn't anything funnier, and they go across all kinds of generations. If you were to show somebody that was 16, 18 years old Caddyshack, they would laugh just like we laughed way back then, and like we laugh at it
Yeah.
now. I mean, it's just a travesty, honestly, that the Writers Guild would go that low, and I'm boycotting them for good now.
Yeah, when I go comedies, Caddyshack number 1. Top 3 movies maybe of all time. I like Caddyshack. I like It's a Wonderful Life, that Frank Capra holiday classic.
Very
That's
good,
up there.
very
And maybe number 3. It's tough to leave Star Wars out of there.
Star Wars is up there, but I mean, come on, Caddyshack
Glory, I like
comedy?
Glory, I like Civil War. But Caddyshack 25th, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's just a bad
That
choice by them.
invalidates the whole list. So it's time for golfj.com trivia. Tweet your answer to @thegolfj. First person to answer right wins a Golf J hat. Last year it was Sloth_Fairy.
Sloth_Fairy.
And this week it could be you.
And you could have a flat brim or a curved brim.
Yeah, we'll reach out to the winner when they win. So the question this week. Last year, both Jason Day and Jordan Spieth ended with 5 wins. In 2014, Rory McIlroy led the way with 3 wins and was tied with another player who also had 3 wins. And all you have to do is name that player.
He's a President's Cup guy.
Tweet. They're giving them clues, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. Hey, it was a little, Sloth Fairy. He got it, but it wasn't like it was a gimme last week. So sometimes these guys need a few clues. That's all, though. I'm just giving them a little bit.
So tweet us @thegolfj, and we'll give you the answer at the end of the show. Which brings us next to the classic golf tips, the greatest golf tips of all time. And this week we're going back into the pages of Zen Golf by Dr. Joseph Parent, my favorite golf book.
Yep.
And what do we have here this week?
We're going to talk about emptying your cup. And basically what he's talking about there is, going into whether you're getting a lesson or you're taking some tips from a pro or practice sessions, just basically clearing your mind of any preconceived thoughts you might have had about your swing, things that you do regularly that may be a little different than what you're being taught. Just kind of clear all that stuff out and basically give the new stuff that you're learning from the pro or whoever you're getting some instruction from, give that a chance, and let it sink in a little bit and see how it works for you. I'll read a little bit here directly, but basically what we've said is what he's talking about. Many golfers have read volumes about the golf swing. They come to a lesson with so many ideas about their swing that they can't hear anything that the pro has to say. They come to a lesson with a full cup. The empty cup approach doesn't mean giving up your intelligence and following blindly. The point is to receive everything that's taught in an open way, withholding judgment until you've tried it for a while. So, saying just to kind of clear your mind and be ready for whatever is being taught to you.
Like most tips in Zen Golf, it sounds simple, but
Right.
when you actually try to put it in practice, it takes some effort.
Yeah.
I've read
absolutely.
Zen Golf 8 times at least. I used to read it every spring, and he'll tell you in that book, Dr. Joseph Parent, he'll tell you that this stuff takes practice just like
Yes.
the physical swing.
Absolutely.
And
He's saying, when you have so many different swing thoughts, things of that nature, that stuff over and over again becomes a little stale, and you've got to open up to new thoughts and new ideas and basically give those a try. And a lot of times, something new and fresh, something outside the box will work for you if you give it a chance.
Yeah, and what better time of year to give something like that a chance? Try something different here. We got, at least up here in the northern half of the U.S., we got a few months
Yeah.
off for winter.
We're going to be hitting into the nets pretty soon.
You know,
Indoors.
so let's take it to the next topic, which Inbee Park wins the Lorena Ochoa Invitational. And, you know, she's just dominant right now on the LPGA Tour. But is anybody like paying attention? Does anybody care about November on the LPGA Tour?
It's tough for them because I think they're going up against two. Well, not so much the FedEx Cup, but you know, you had the President's Cup, and next year you'll have the Ryder Cup, and then you have the Race to Dubai, and you have all these other things going on. While they're not major events, they're still in the consciousness of everybody. And they kind of get pushed to the side. It's almost like they need to rethink their timing on when their championship ends to kind of go off of, off course or off the beaten path, so to speak, and come to a conclusion when they're the only thing going on. You know what I mean? Maybe in a month or so. Maybe they even extend it into the December months when there's really nothing going on other than the silly season, and that they can get a little bit more pub because last week, be honest with you, 2 tournaments in Mexico. They're getting overshadowed by the PGA Tour and Mayakoba.
Yeah, if they're in Mexico and the PGA Tour is in there, at least you're getting a lot of coverage locally, in Mexico.
Right.
But,
yeah.
I don't know. It's the Solheim Cup's a high-profile LPGA event.
Yeah.
Even the majors, other than the U.S. Women's Open, it's not what it used to be.
Even the Solheim Cup, the timing of it is right before it was right during the FedEx Cup and right before the President's Cup.
Right.
As great as that tournament was this year, I watched every round of it and all the controversy that surrounded it. It was still kind of lost after a few days. It lost its momentum right away, and you would think that they would try and alternate with the big men's tournaments so they don't go head to head and get a little more pub. They've got a lot of great players, a lot of great American players coming up. You see us back on the tops of the leaderboards more and more every week. But you just hope they can kind of find a niche and get some momentum and really build on that. But they have their championship this weekend as well. But I don't know how much coverage that's going to get when you have the Race to Dubai and other PGA tournaments.
And Thanksgiving coming up.
Lots of stuff coming up. Exactly.
Fantasy Golf Primer for the RSM Classic. Sea Island, Georgia?
Sea Island, Georgia. Seaside course at Sea Island,
Right,
Georgia.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Defending champ Robert Streb. Past winners, Chris Kirk won it in 2014, Tommy Gainey 2012, Ben Crane in 2011, Heathcliff Slocum in 2010. And let's start with our winners, and I'm going to go ahead first. I'm picking the captain, Captain Chris Kirk.
There you go.
He
I like it.
won in 2014, as I just mentioned, and he finished tied for 4th last week in Mexico. Yep. He's playing good. He's a horse for a course. Oh, wait, no. He won.
I think he won in 13.
Yeah, he won in 13, finished 4th in 2015.
Correct.
So there you go.
Correct.
And
one of my guys won it last year.
He also took a lot of time off this summer with injury, so he's a little more fresh than these guys that have just been grinding away.
Fresh or rusty, we'll have to see.
Well, I wouldn't say rusty with a T4 last. Yeah, he's a horse for a course. Chris
You're
Kirk.
going with him.
Chris Kirk.
Hey, I'm going to
Captain Chris Kirk.
There you go. I'm going to go with Kevin Kisner. He was T2 at HSBC 2 weeks ago. He's playing well. He's been, at the tops of the leaderboard, making cuts all over the place. So hopefully he's taking the place of Brant Snedeker in my mind with making a lot of cuts, and hopefully he doesn't let me down this week like my pick from last week did.
Well, Kisner's due to win. We're not talking too much about last week.
No.
Our winner picks did not do too
No,
good. We
not.
did have one guy top 10, and we had
8 out of 12.
8 of 12 make
cuts.
the cut, which is
That's
not
a good percentage, but it's not great.
Not great, not bad.
These tournaments are tough. There's not a lot of chalk in these tournaments to go off of, so anything can happen, as we saw the last few weeks before this week, 5 straight first-time winners. So I'm going to go with Kevin Kisner.
All right, that's not a bad pick. Let's go now with some strong plays. Again, with the Monday finish, DraftKings a little late with the numbers. So we don't have numbers to put with these guys in terms of their DraftKings salary. And hey, we're up here in New York State, so we could get arrested at any time for even talking about this.
Yeah, we shouldn't
right?
even mention this anymore. I mean, after last week, we give our picks and talk DraftKings up, and the next day, Attorney General New York starts throwing out some crazy nonsense. But anyways, did I just say that out loud? So let's go with our strong plays for whoever is playing fantasy, wherever you're playing fantasy.
Yeah, why don't you run down your list first?
I'm going to go with Patton Kizzire for one of my strong picks. He's had 2 top 5s and made 3 out of 3 cuts. He was right there with Smiley Kaufman a few weeks back, and I just like the way he's playing. He's one of those guys that's a first-timer in the making. He's got to get a win soon, so I'm going to go with Patton Kizzire. I'm going to go also with Robert Streb. He won in the playoff last year. He's 2 out of 2 for made cuts in 16, and he's the year he had in 15, he's a solid bet for any tournament in 16. Charles Howell III playing very well. He's had 3 top 20s out of the 2016 season, 1 top 10, and he's made all 4 of his cuts. So Charles is getting his game into form, and I like the way he's playing. He's going to be down in his home state there. Hard not to pick Graeme McDowell. He won this week, obviously, as we saw today. He's committed to the PGA Tour full time, and he's ready to have a big 2016. He's going to start it off real well at the beginning of the year. What about you?
Solid picks. Now, if you were to take my team and when the salaries come out of DraftKings, I think you're going to end up with like $4,000 left to play with. But I don't care. I'm picking them.
That's when I start changing my picks when I have extra money.
And I think that's a mistake because it's so arbitrary. So you can have a DraftKings team that has $700 left out there. Well, you don't need to.
How many times in the last 5 weeks have the top guys come through? Not many.
So this week I got Brendan DeJong, finished second last year. Did tie for 58th the OHL. He kind of struggled, but the weather was so bad. He's been playing pretty good, but the weather was so bad in Mexico.
Yeah, that was a crapshoot this week. It was on and off. But he's a great pick. I like that pick.
Scott Brown, top 5 last week at the OHL. Not a name that really inspires too much confidence, but keep an eye on Scott Brown this week. He's playing well. Jason Kokrak tied for 17th last week, but has been a consistent performer recently. And then Boo Weekly got a top 10 at the OHL, and he hates the
wraparound, but he's playing in it because he likes the money. So.
Yep. And then we got our sleepers pick. My sleeper pick is Davis Love IV.
You did it. You went with it. I almost went.
How can you not?
I hear you. I almost went with Davis Love III.
Yeah,
he's playing well. And he's at his home course, basically. But Davis Love IV, I like it.
Drew Love, I think,
Love,
right? Is his name, and it's his first PGA Tour start.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how good I feel about that sleeper pick, but I just had to do it. Davis Love IV. It's truly a new era.
It's a home course for both of them, so you can't go wrong there. I'm going to go with Arnie's grandson, Sam Saunders. He was T29 last week. He had 3 rounds in the 60s at Mayakoba, and he's been playing pretty good. I like him a lot, and I think he's one to be looked at for the coming year.
I like your pick better than my Davis Love IV pick.
A little bit more history with that one, at least in the last few weeks.
So there you have it. Good luck in your fantasy games this week, and that brings us to our answer to our trivia question. Last year, Jason Day and Jordan Spieth ended with 5 wins. And in 2014, Rory McIlroy led the tour with 3 wins and was tied with one other player, and that player was
Jimmy Walker, President's Cup player.
And former star of Good Times.
Exactly.
So we'll check the tweets, and
we might have dated ourselves on that one.
Yeah, whoever hit us up first with the Jimmy Walker answer gets a Golf J hat, a real nice Golf J hat.
Absolutely.
New era 3930 hat.
Or 5950, either way. Snapback. You have the snapback flat brim, or you could have the fitted curved brim, whatever you want to do.
And just let us know if you answered Jimmy Walker. So that about does it here on the GolfJ.com podcast for a little while. We're taking our break till January 4th. We come back the week before, the Monday before the Hyundai Tournament of Champions in Kapalua. I mean, really, 4th, the rest of the way out. There's no PGA Tour tournament the week of Thanksgiving. Then they come back with one more decent event with a decent purse.
Yeah.
And then you got the Franklin Templeton Shootout.
Yeah.
And then it's time for Christmas. And then finally, for real, the tour kicks off again in Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii, Kapalua, that's the place to be. And that's when all the winners come out. And great tournament, good start to the season. So we'll jump back in after the holidays.
Yeah, and we're going to want you still checking out golfj.com. The update schedule
Daily.
there is not going to change.
Nope.
And we also have some awesome fitness videos coming down the
We'll have some
pike.
Golf J fitness, golf fitness videos to take a look at, and a lot of different stuff. We'll keep adding to the experience at golfj.com.
So you can connect with us online at Twitter at the Golf J.
Absolutely.
And then we are also on Instagram at _Golf J. And you can search for Golf J on Facebook
Like us.
and like us there. And that way, when we do come back with the podcast, we'll be right in your feed. And you're also going to get a lot of golf content daily filtered your way on
golfj.com.
on golfj.com and all those outlets. So all our episodes in the best of the wide world of golf on the web can be found at golfj.com, and we will be back on January 4th at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Until then, hit 'em long, not often.
Go low.
golfj.com